The hits keep on coming for Sony's live service initiative. I want to look at what's left of the games they still got planned, and there are already some issues with those as well. And this most recent news story. Jade Raymond, namely, has left Haven Studio, the PlayStation owned studio that she founded. They acquired it in 2022. She, of course, industry veteran, working on Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs. Then she went to Stadia, and then she went to EA Motive. She has not released a game in forever. And now, before releasing fairgames, what they're working on, she has left. And the crazy part is that, according to Bloomberg, although the reason wasn't given for Raymond's departure, the report cited sources who note that an external test of fairgames took place several weeks ago, and that some developers were concerned about how it was received. So basically, a more sizable group outside of the studio got to play this new extraction style shooter, and very, very curious, but a few weeks after that, Jade Raymond suddenly departs the studio. I mean, you would think that it's linked, right? Maybe the feedback wasn't great, and they're like, okay, we've been working on this for 3 years now. What is crazy about it too, this is what Jason Schreier notes. Fairgames was originally slated for the release in the fall 2025, but has been delayed to next spring. So they were probably looking at the progress, looking at the feedback, and being like, okay, this is what you guys did, and we wanted to launch this year. Like, it was part of our roadmap, but now we have to invest even more. Sorry, Jade. Yeah, you're out. Or maybe Jade herself was like, okay, yeah, my vision was not correct, or I don't want to work on this game anymore. Of course, endless speculation is possible. And one of the things, by the way, as well here, of course, it was Fairgame $. That is the original name. But maybe the biggest scoop from Jason Schreier, if we go over to Reset Era, I guess I buried the real scoop here, but they dropped the $. Maybe an indication that they're stepping away from some of the aesthetics, some of the tone that they were going for. Eat the rich. It's like, yeah, the billion-dollar company is making a game about eating the rich. The game seemingly is still chugging along. They're still going to launch it, which is kind of crazy to me after the Concord debacle, of course. But Jade Raymond is out, and I mean, at one point, if you have been at multiple things, again, in October 2014, she left Ubisoft, then she went to EA Motive to work with Amy Hennig on the Star Wars game that never saw the light of day. Then she moved to Google Stadia as a vice president. Obviously, Stadia, a big flop too. And now then she founded Haven Studios and worked on Fairgames, and now she's leaving that too. So at one point it's like, what do all these things that Jade Raymond went to that did not work out have in common? Well, she was a leader there, so you start to wonder, has she lost touch? I mean, it's huge that she was at the forefront of Watch Dogs, huge franchise for Ubisoft, but of course in particular Assassin's Creed, that is still enormous for them. But after that, what she has done has not been successful. But yeah, this is another big blow to the already really, really poor rollout of live service games for Sony. 4 months ago, Sony cancelled 2 more PlayStation projects, including a God of War game developed by Bluepoint. Jason, of course, took it to Blue Sky here, saying that the banned live service game, so after Days Gone in like 2020, 2021, they, got to work on a live service game. All that work is now gone. I hope they're doing like a smaller Days Gone game, like a Miles Morales, to get it out hopefully during the PS5 generation, but we will see. Their live service game cancelled, and Bluepoint is like the biggest fumble. The remake studio that did Demon's Souls, that did Shadow of the Colossus, they were working on a live service God of War game. Like, what the heck? Why? So, I think it's very interesting to see. Okay, they wanted to launch 12 live service games, Sony, before March 2026. They have Helldivers 2, and they have Concord that launched and kind of went. Some people say Gran Turismo 7 is one. Of course, you got MLB The Show. But those kind of already existed before this initiative, right? Those were already games that they were kind of working on. So what do we have left? And I want to look at all the cancelled projects in a moment as well. One of the games, of course, Marathon. They just had the alpha. And yeah, they want to launch this in September. I really hope they delay it and give extra time. Although, maybe this is not going to work out. Like, Bungie, of course, really, really good. But, or like, a good pedigree, let's say. Destiny, of course, still a very special game. Halo, of course, too. But this does seem to miss that kind of magic. That kind of newness. Like, what is there? What do they bring to the table for this Extraction? Yeah, already very, very busy extraction shooter genre. Then we have Horizon Online. This is probably their biggest bet. This is another example where they did kill some multiplayer, but they're mostly a single player studio with Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, of course. But they want to make that into a let's bring your friends together to fight a Thunderjaw together. On paper, I think it could be great. Like, the gameplay of Horizon is amazing. It could be cool to bring in your friends. Monster Hunter proves that, that type of gameplay could work. But I'm afraid. I've always been afraid of this game and the amount of resource they are putting into it. But they're at least going to try. And I think we will see this game on May 29th during the State of Play or showcase that they, I think, will do around that time. Then they also have the Jason Blundell game. The Dark Outlaws games. They first had Deviation games. So this is the producer on Call of Duty Black Ops, campaign director for Black Ops 2, game director for the campaign and zombie modes for Black Ops 3, and the director and producer of the for the career and zombie modes in Black Ops 4. Basically, they are now with this new studio seemingly making a zombie type co-op experience exclusively for PlayStation and PC. This could be big. I hope that this works out for them. That's another similar gamble compared to a Concord where, they're investing in veteran game developers that are now starting up a new studio. Hopefully this works out better. And then we also have Gummy Bears. So Bungie next to Destiny and Marathon was like trying out other different things. And one of them is a MOBA Smash Bros. Hybrid. They're now working on that in a new PlayStation studio. Again, MOBA at the core, Nintendo, like Smash Bros. Like. So, PvP, multiple game modes are planned. It's like focused on a younger demographic. They're gonna keep trying, but those are the 4 games that they now got going. And I really thought, for example, because if we look at all the cancelled games, the graveyard over here. So released Helldivers 2, MLB The Show, Gran Turismo 7. Again, I don't count these 2 games. They were going to release even without the live service initiative. Helldivers 2, obviously, that's a success. Concord released and shuttered, of course, we all know that story. So Marathon, Fairgames, Horizon, MMO. It's not the MMO, it's like Horizon Online. The MMO is the mobile game that seemingly is still coming. I don't really count that. NCSoft is working on that. Gummy Bears, the one that I just talked about, the MOBA, and that co-op shooter from Jason Blundell and his team. And then cancelled God of War live service, the band game. Again, we might not see a new game from the Days Gone team in the PS5 generation, apart from Days Gone Remastered, which kind of sad. Twisted Metal game. I think The Last of Us Online would have been like a grounded live service, but then with co-op and stuff and exploring a San Francisco with what they were. They like Naughty Dog should not have made that game, but I still think a Last of Us live service could be amazing. I think that is kind of the issue, and also Spider-Man live service game. That is the issue that instead of having the single player teams make it, they should have gone to other studios with the oversight from an Insomniac and from a Naughty Dog to have that be to still make that, because I really think what Sony is struggling with right now, and that we see with Marathon, Fairgames, they're trying to enter a market without a really interesting new idea. And why did Helldivers 2 work? Because it is like a completely different type of experience you can't really find elsewhere. So a Last of Us Online game would have been that too. Spider-Man swinging around with your friends would be a game like that too. But you don't want your primary studios that have to also release single player games work on those titles, but it's probably too late for that. And yeah, the London studio team. So the graveyard is big, and now we gotta I mean, we already knew Fairgames would have an uphill battle. They wanted to launch this year. Now it's spring 2026, so that would be around GTA 6. Like, maybe at one point just don't bother, but then you bought another studio, just like Firewalk. You probably spent 500 million when it all is said and done, or more, on nothing. On really nothing. Why is Haven? That is like, Haven Studios is a lot of like Ubisoft veterans that worked on Assassin's Creed and stuff. Why are they not making like a cool single player game to boost your portfolio like that? Yeah, they want to keep trying, but I don't know. Fairgames, I don't think is it. Otherwise, if Fairgames was like had like a lot of like positive buzz behind the scenes, Jade, I think, would not have left. But yeah, let me know what you think. Subscribe, of course, for more reactions like this, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.